asylum, other than getting them to a point where they can do that. And I'd like to add this as well, because I think it's very important, and it's somewhat stunning to me, but my district director and my chief of staff told me this morning is we haven't had one call from one citizen in our office about fear or questions regarding this operation, and that speaks volumes to several things. One is there isn't any fear about the folks that are in Mexico right now, and for two reasons. One is our counterparts in Mexico, and we've been dialoguing with them every day, several times a day, along with Commander McCraw, is they have a good control over what's going on in Mexico and how this thing is being funneled this way. And number two, it speaks volumes about the tremendous effort that United States Border Patrol, the CBP here at the bridge, DPS behind me, and the Guard are doing in making sure that we don't have a humanitarian crisis past what has driven these folks to this border. And I suspect that will continue. I think the citizens of this town, of this city, are united. They feel safe, and there's good reason for that. And we've felt safe before, and we're going to feel safe after this. Nothing's going to change. And so I commend these law enforcement individuals. I commend our local law enforcement, our city police, our sheriff's department, because they're also doing yeoman's work to make sure that all the gaps are being filled no matter what. And you know, we've got a little bit more traffic in town than we're used to, but everybody's welcome here, no matter what part of town, and we continue to assist in the mission. As chairman of Homeland Security, we will continue to advise and assist DPS in their mission as they continue to advise and assist USBP and CBP to a lesser extent, but we stand ready to do that. And we expect sometime for this, obviously, to end and draw down, and that will be shortly as well. And we'll allow that to happen as it happens, and we'll announce it as it happens as well. But thank you very much for coming, and we'll turn it over to our county judge.
Thank you, Representative Nevares. As Mr. Nevares mentioned, he is working diligently not only to represent Maverick County, but the border region that is one of the expansive ones in the state of Texas. I'm just here to let you all know and let the public know, our residents know, and reiterate that the individuals that are down here right now, individuals that are working with us, more members of the USBPS, CBP, Texas Department of Public Safety, and also Texas National Guard, that these individuals are here to help the citizens of Maverick County to make sure that everything is done correctly, properly. We've seen the mission statement that DPS has put out, the statement that they are here to assist, not to harass anybody, not to try to cause trouble with anyone, nothing other than to make sure that everything is done in an orderly fashion the way it needs to be. And as Mr. Nevares mentioned, we do welcome these individuals here into our community with open arms. There is more traffic, but at the same time, we know that they're here to help us, to support Maverick County and any of the help that we may need, and to help our Port Director here at CBP and the rest of the entities that are involved in this mission that we have right now. As Mr. Nevares mentioned, we'll also be utilizing Texas National Guard. You understand they'll be coming in within the next few days. We are working with them to make sure that they're set up and that they have the property that they need to make sure that their outfit, the individuals that will be coming in, will be accommodated in a necessary way to make sure that their jobs are made easier to protect our borders.
Should we hand it off to the mayor?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you, Judge. And just as a point of reference, I was actually right now working with my counterpart in the city, our sister city of Piedras Negras, actually taking a tour and a visit of the area that is ongoing, currently housing the individuals that are in question, the over 1,800 immigrants that are here in the area, in our sister city. And the operation there is something that is truly to be commendable, and truly to be commendable, of course, of the working relationship that we have between both countries. More so, of course, assuring that our communities are in constant communication, constant working relationships that have been fostered throughout many years of working together. And I think that this is why our communities of Eagle Pass and Piedras Negras have been able to assure the sense of order, the sense of peace, working together with, of course, that strong coordination of the efforts of our law enforcement, which I truly commend the efforts of our port staff, from Customs and Border Protection to Border Patrol to DPS, to our local officials, our local law enforcement with police and sheriff's departments, that all have come together. And this is what Eagle Pass has always done. We've always been known as a community that works hand in hand, and more so that works hand in hand to assure that that effort with our sister city of Piedras Negras. I think that this should be a testament, and more so it should be an example to the nation that two communities that are led by local officials, that are led by our state officials, and of course should send a strong message that if we can manage to maintain order, that if we can manage to maintain the peace within our communities and remind individuals such as these immigrants that are that made a very long trip to try to make it into the U.S., that there is a process and there is a way to enter the U.S. legally, that should be truly commended. If we can do that as local communities, I think that there should be no reason for Congress and our current administration to assure that there is a bipartisan way to assure the necessary immigration reform that is required in order for us to not have to deal with issues of militarizing our borders and assuring that there are additional concerns. So with that, know that we continue working together, and we thank you all for assisting us in providing these types of informations, not only out into our local community, but out to the nation for them to know what is happening here on this particular border with Texas and Mexico. Thank you all.
That being said, that's it for the press conference, unless anybody has any questions.
So, first of all, if the Mexican government
and there's some sort of sense without even having
and why is all this force needed to be deployed right along the riverbank here?
why don't you ask the president that?
So you're saying it's political and not really police work?
Well, I'll just say this, is that the men and women that are here, they're asked to do a job, and it's difficult, and it's a job that, and I'll say this again, the Border Patrol has done since time immemorial. The Department of Public Safety is here to add to that layer of work, of security, of safety that the Border Patrol's already had here since time immemorial. But that being said, at some point you'll start to see a drawdown, and whether it's necessary or not, they're here right now and everything's fine. It doesn't upset the balance of what's going on in our community because, again, as the mayor stated, we've got a very good sense of communication, of work between local officials, state officials, and federal officials. But if you're asking me why, look, we've had these types of movements of people for a long time. This isn't the first time that people come in some sort of organized fashion to the border. But over the last 6 months to a year, it's the first time that somebody has made a great effort to point it out and multiply that out after this. But we seem to have some sort of concerted effort to point these things out as they happen, but these pressure points happen, historically they happen. CBP processes them as they do, and they're going to do this again. And so there's no doubt in my mind that we'll get past this in terms of what kind of pressure it puts here, what kind of pressure it puts on the centers where people will be housed or detained, as it may be. But there's no doubt in my mind, and when I make that comment, and it's somewhat rhetorical and facetious about us, the president, I think that's the one unifying force and why we have this type of show of force. And believe me, it's not unwanted here because we appreciate it. But the truth is, it's been handled before and it'll be handled again, if that makes sense.
How many folks have been processed since Monday through the checkpoint that are part of that caravan? And how is that coordinated with officials here? Are Mexican officials on the other side coordinating those folks that are coming over and giving you a heads up?
I couldn't speak to that. I think our court director could tell you the number as close as he can, and we'll get him up here in a second, and so we'll let him answer that question. Next question.
Okay,
Se esperaban que llegaran tantos migrantes a la ciudad de Piedras Negras, y la ciudad de igual paso está lista en dado caso de que intenten entrar de manera violenta como ya lo hicieron en la frontera sur de México.
Pues digo, sí, yo creo que la demostración de que si estamos listos, pues estamos listos. Se puede ver la manifestación de bastante seguridad en cuestión de los simulacros que se han llevado a cabo. Yo creo que la preparación y los preparativos para algo violento pues ya está asegurado en diferentes puestos y lugares a través del condado y la ciudad, pero algo me dice que no va a ser necesario, resume el control que se está llevando a cabo en México y basado en el simulacro y la fuerza que estamos viendo de este lado, y también los ejemplos que hemos tenido en otros puertos donde hubo menos organización y la mano no existía estrecha de la comunidad, de comunidades ambas, y es lo que veo distinto. Entonces, en corta puesta a tu pregunta, estamos listos.
Tengo una preguntita más. Joven, ¿qué tanto, bueno, hace un momento usted mencionó que a diferencia de otros lugares había poca coordinación o algo así, pero qué tanto entonces les ha beneficiado el hecho de que Piedras Negras y Coahuila han tratado de lidiar con esta situación y pues se han metido en un tema?
Digo, para mí la prueba es la paz que se ve. Digo, el hecho de que está aquí el director y no allá en un puerto porque se requiere su presencia, porque está pasando cosas inesperadas, te dice bastante en cuestión de la comunicación, organización y la falta de la necesidad de algún episodio o masa de violencia por medio de la gente que está aquí. Digo, es evidente, lo que no estamos viendo es la evidencia de la preparación, los simulacros, la coordinación. Entonces ya tenemos que 3 días, 4 días así. Entonces para mí ya está bastante comprobado que el método que está llevando a cabo CBP, USP, United States Border Patrol, los locales, estatales, está funcionando de una manera muy positiva. Gracias.
After this question, we'll go to one-on-one interviews. Yeah.
So to your question as to how many of the caravan we've processed, yes. The answer to that is we're processing ourselves here at the port of entry, as it relates to CBP to our capacity. So capacity for a small port, our capacity is minimal.
So that's still 16 to 20 people
on any given day, we can have 16 to 20.
And have they all been part of the caravan?
No, so up until this point, and we asked if they were part of the caravan, we haven't had anyone that has said yes. So it was people that were here before it, and we're relying on their responses. So so it's hard to say if they were or if they are, or that thing. But it's as soon as we can process what we have at our facilities, and they're transported, then we bring in the next 16 and so on and so forth. And that's a daily process.
Are you getting any kind of coordination with the Mexican authorities, or any heads up on who's coming over or anything like that?
So we've got great communication with our partners in Mexico. And it just varies depending on weather and other situations. Whenever it is that they prefer that people not be on bridges, our job is to come out 100%. Right now, we actually find ourselves at about 150% to our capacity, and that's not many more, but it's it's our part to ensure that we're processing as quickly as we can and going to those next people in line.
Any efforts to try to speed that up or increase the
Absolutely
capacity to process more?
The